Well, good morning. I'm singing a morning song for you before we do anything else. There's only 2 Hebrew words in it, and I will tell you what they are. Moda ani means I'm thankful. Moda ani, I am thankful for this day. Moda ani, I am thankful. Awake from your slumber, awaken your soul. Awake to the wonder, awake, become whole. Rise up and breathe in the breath that is new. Moda ani. Rise up and shake off the dust from your soul. Life is returning, making you whole. Open and breathe in the life of the day. Moda ani, moda ani. I am grateful. I am grateful for this day. Moda ani. I am grateful. Rise up and shake off the dust from your soul. Life is returning, making you whole. Open and breathe in the life of the day. Moda ani, moda ani. I am thankful. I am thankful for this day. Moda ani. I am grateful. So I thought I'd begin at the beginning. I came here a long time ago, 27 years ago. And when I came here, I was the mother of 6 children between the ages of 5 and 15. And when we moved here, I had been studying art in Canada, and we moved here. I went back to art school. And so I actually have a BFA from MSUM, those of you who are MSUM grads. Back in the day, and I was a full-time professional artist for a long time. And I knew everyone downtown, and now I'm older than dirt, and my life has changed paths. And so I don't have much to do with the art community anymore, but I'm still an artist. And I want to talk about tradition and how it influenced my art to begin with. They call us the people of the book. It really should be the people of a whole lot of books. This book that you see here on this podium is part of a whole series of books called the Talmud. And if you look at the page, you'll see that it's done in a very odd way. The Talmud started at about the 4th century of the Common Era. And what you have, see those little squares in the middle? That's a little piece of Jewish law. And all around, we have arguments by different rabbis in different times talking about that one little piece of law. So that goes on and on. There are many volumes of it. So here's a couple of young fellas who look just like me, studying Talmud. And this is what a page of Talmud looks like. You can see that it's almost like a quilted sort of pattern. So when I started painting, I was not painting as a Jewish artist, but Jewish themes sort of came more and more into my work. And you can see that the text, because we are so text involved, that the text became very important to me. And eventually the text became so important that the text was the background. And I hadn't thought about it, but after a while I thought, it's just, I'm making a patchwork of all of these images that reminds me very much of the Talmud and the patchwork that it is. These are all different Torah portions in the Torah. When I talk about Torah, I'm talking about Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And this is from the book of Exodus. This is when Pharaoh's heart is hardened. This is in the beginning. This is Bereshit. It's funny because the first word in the Torah is Bereshit, and it starts with a B, with a bet. And Aleph comes before that, but Aleph has no sound. The Aleph has absolutely no sound. It's just, it depends on the dots for vowels that go with it as to how it sounds. So I like to think of in the beginning as not the bet for Bereshit, but as the stuff that comes before anything happens. The stuff that has all potential. It's kind of like those of you who are artists going to a blank canvas. and everything is possible. And sometimes that's really unnerving and upsetting until you make some marks on it, and then you can sort of get down and dirty. But you've also limited, yourself in some way. This is a bowl of lentil soup, if you remember the story of Jacob and Esau. So this is also a Torah piece. And this is Joseph's coat. Once again, they all have this interlocking. And I just love the calligraphy of Hebrew script and Hebrew letters. I am by no means a calligrapher. I am a really messy sort of, some of these paintings are quite large. I'm a really messy, sort of gross artist. And doing tiny little things is kind of frightening to me. This is, we're told to build a tabernacle in the wilderness, and it's going to travel with us through the wilderness. This is also from the book of Exodus. And we're told to bring fine linens and gold, and we're supposed to make a 7-branched menorah. So this is just a little piece of the menorah coming through there. So that's how my creativity, and I've always been a musician. So if fast forward, I eventually became a rabbi. And now I'm the spiritual leader of the congregation here in Fargo, Temple Bethel. And I often think that I'm not painting much, but my husband keeps telling me that my creativity is going into other places. And I'll tell you about the places they go in my job. Parts of my job. I lead services. I sing, I lead services. In Judaism, most of what we do is chanted, even in traditional Judaism. We are a liberal and progressive synagogue. So, we have female rabbis, and we ordain openly gay, lesbian, whatever, men and women, and or not men and women. And so we're kind of left of left. And so we have a lot of ability to play with the service, to play with readings, to play with the music that I might sing that in traditional congregations they don't really have. So a lot of that for me is creating a sacred space, a holy space, a welcoming space. We're a very tiny community. You're already bigger than our whole community here. We're only about maybe 35 families. So it's a tiny little group, and I know everyone. So I can take chances, and I know they'll come with me. And they'll never say they hated it, but they might not say anything, and then I know maybe that wasn't quite the road to take. But we also have at our disposal a fantastic amount of new Jewish music. This piece that I sang this morning is by a friend of mine in LA, Craig Taubman, writes some absolutely beautiful music, contemporary Jewish music. And I love finding that music, and I'm not a songwriter. Every now and then I think I'll be a songwriter. I shouldn't say that. My granddaughter's class, the teacher, there's a word, they have a thing on the wall. You have to say, I'm not a songwriter yet. You have to put yet at the end. So there's always possibilities. Maybe I'll now become a songwriter because I've spoken that out loud. But I use a lot of very, very talented people's songs and work. So that's part of what I do. I also teach the children in our community, which number about 7 right now. And you need to know 3 of them are my grandchildren. And we used to meet every week. We called it Sunday school because it was on Sunday mornings. Now we've gone to once a month because one family lives in Wapaton, one family lives in Detroit Lakes. My grandchildren are all here, and it gets very hard, and for only 6 children. So we've decided to do it once a month and really make that once a month count. And we've only done it twice, and it was really an exercise in creativity for me to find a way to keep everybody occupied and learn from different ages, to learn about what we were talking about that Sunday. And so we've gone into the kitchen. We've made soup and matzah, chicken soup and matzah balls. We made potato latkes for Hanukkah. We do all kinds of stuff. And we sing songs, and sometimes we sing crazy songs, and we learn through that. So I'm really going through this creative process of trying to make every month count. We have it on Sunday morning. I'm working on it. It's kind of in my head. And what we're going to talk about on Sunday morning is the parting of the sea. That's the part of the Torah we're at, when the sea opens and we all get to walk through. So of course we're going to have a sea and we're going to walk through it, and we're going to sing Walking Through the Sea songs and, you know, make pictures of what you might see if you were looking that way. So the creative process goes on in all of those things. I also, of course, deal with comfort and solace in our congregants' times of needs. We're an aging congregation, and so we've seen a lot of illness and a lot of death in the last couple of years for us, and that's takes a lot of bringing up stuff from your soul to do that. I wanted to tell you we have such an arrangement of music to choose from. And sometimes, I always, every year, do a Holocaust service at Concordia, a Shoah service. And one pastor came up to me and said, "You Jews really know how to lament." I didn't quite understand until I was at some other funerals, and then I understood what he said. So this is a setting of part of Psalm 23. This is a setting of, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you are with me. It goes like this. Gam ki elech beget salmaver lo yirah. Gam ki elech beget salmaver lo yirah. Lo yirah ki ata imadi. Lo yirah ki ata imadi. Gam ki elech beget salmaver lo yirah. So, choosing music and choosing what works in a certain space and at a certain time is very much part of the creative process that I go through when I'm crafting any kind of service. There's so many things that, and so much music involved in what I do. I'm struck. I was remembering as I was thinking about this. How many of you know John Marks? No one knows John Marks. John Marks was one of the big, he and Vicky Chapoulis were the big sort of people who started Trollwood back in the day, and John taught theater to middle school. And just a really remarkable man. And I remember him telling me that, you know, as a teacher, this is what he thought. Every child is a genius. Every child is a genius. You just have to find what they're a genius at. And I think that's so important for those of us who create, who have this need to make things, to think about things, to look at things, sometimes in a different way than other people do. I would like to blame it on my husband's red-green color blindness, but we'll be driving and I'll say, "Oh, look at that sunset," and he just, "What do you mean?" You know, there are some of us who just see the world through a different kind of lens, and we need to focus that lens and bring it into ourselves and share it. I think the biggest point of working as a creative person is to be able to share all of that creativity with everyone you come in contact with. If it's your business, if it's the people you work with, whoever it is, you want to share that, and you want to make that a wonderful thing. We have lots of other songs. We're all about peace. And in the liberal and progressive movement, we are even more so about peace. Something just happened, and I don't know what it was. This is a song by, I just got blinded by lights. This is a song by another friend of mine. She lives between Sioux City and Maine. Two homes, Sioux City, Iowa, and Maine. Peace across the mighty waters, peace to all your sons and daughters, write it in a rainbow across the sky. Peace across the thunderous mountains, peace through lines and walls and bastions, write it in a rainbow across the sky. And we will not wait for change. We will not wait for change to come around. Peace through morning's yellow rays and peace at evening's purple haze, write it in a rainbow across the sky. Peace throughout your holy lands and peace to those who understand, write it in a rainbow across the sky. And we will not wait for change. No, we will not wait for change to come around. Peace through politics and isms, peace to all of those in prison, write it in a rainbow across the sky. Find it in your righteous stories, don't be fooled by dreams of glory, write it in a rainbow across the sky. And we will not wait for change. No, we will not wait for change. We will not wait for change to come around. So I don't know if you applauded for the first one, and then you didn't applaud for anything else. If maybe I took a chance and missed the mark. The Jewish tradition is all about channeling spirit, channeling energy from the Holy One. And part of our job as Jews is called tikkun olam. It means fixing the world. Part of our job, and that's what we're really here about, is to leave this world a better place than it was when we came here. And for some of us, we take that really, really seriously. That means we need to be out there, be doing things, be helping, be providing for people in our community, people in the greater community, people in the world. We all know that there have been so many disasters and so many tragedies, and we can all do our little part. We don't have to, what was it you said in the end of that? We don't have to make a new holiday? Yeah, there's a Jewish thing in the Talmud that says, the day is short, the work is long, and basically you have to make a start. You don't have to finish it, but you have to start it. So even if we think that we're incapable of doing everything that we want to do, all the people we want to help, all the people we want to take in and comfort, you can do a little bit. You can do a little bit in your own world. And I think it spreads. So I'm going to sing one last song. This is it's in Hebrew. Hoshia et Amecha, save your people. Hoshia, 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 et Amecha, Amecha, Amecha. Hoshia et Amecha, Hoshia et Amecha,